Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to GG Weekly Podcast. I am Chris the Real Darth Guy. With me we got Justin Baggy Noodle Arms. A little bit late today, but it would be uncharacteristic of us if, us being streamers, we didn't run into a technical issue right when we were going to hit the go live button. But got that all fixed now. If we do desync video at all during this, we're just going to keep on rolling through, so don't worry about it. But Justin, how are you?
Crazy day for me, in the real world with work and such. But other than that, I'm actually doing pretty well. How about you today, Darth?
Doing really good. Luckily for me, it was less of a crazy day at work, so I got a bunch of stuff done for the podcast. We have the new intro, we have the new overlays, all that great stuff. We're on all podcast services basically now, with the small exception of iHeartRadio and Pandora, because they feel like, I guess in the world of computers, they have to take 14 days to approve us. Whatever, I guess. But so we're still waiting on those two. But if you type podcast in the chat, you'll get all the links in there if you want to subscribe to us. And we also put it on YouTube, so the videos are over there. I even forgot that I forgot that I streamed last night today when we were talking for the pre-show.
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, when was the last time I streamed? Was it Friday? You're like, dude, it was last night. I raided you. That's how long today felt. It felt like a whole week. Like
it's been a long day.
It's not that it was super stressful for me. It was almost the opposite. It was so unbelievably boring, but I had to sit there on the video chat and just be there. Like,
did you see that video of a guy who pre-recorded his face like on his webcam, and then he mounts a phone playing the video perfect distance so the webcam picks up the phone as if it's him sitting there. I thought that was awesome.
That's a pretty witty little thing to do. I think I saw that on TikTok, because as of late, for some reason, I've been a little bit on the addicted side to TikTok. Like, I finally got it so that the For You section actually recommends things that I feel are funny and amusing. So now it's just like constant. In the beginning, I hated TikTok altogether, but I saw it on there. So that's a pretty good idea. I should rig something up, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've only watched probably a total of like 3 people's different TikToks, maybe 15 TikToks total. So I am not addicted yet. I hear many people are, so I'm sure one day they'll sucker me in.
The thing is if you don't want to be addicted to TikTok, don't like any videos, don't follow any people, just let it plain Jane roll through the videos. It even tracks, like, if you skip a video in the middle of it, it'll like start the algorithm on you then too. So if you watch videos all the way through, watch them twice through, however you interact with the app, it learns what you like and dislike based off of all that stuff. It's pretty cool, coming from the computer programming side of me, of course. But yeah, like, it's really irritating if I accidentally watch something all the way through because I look away and I'm like, no, I didn't want that on my recommendations. Dang it.
I didn't actually like that video.
No, go back. I want to dislike it or whatever, it's, but I'm just as addicted to it as I was of Vine. Do you remember Vine, which was literally the same thing?
Yeah, I feel like I hated Vine, and I feel like that's why I haven't gotten to TikTok. Yeah, because if you're not the one watching the phone, right? If, for instance, your fiance or somebody like that was watching the Vine, and the second the video ends, they don't move on to a different one. It just keeps replaying. Mm-hmm. So you have to hear the tail beginning or whatever of every video twice, because you hear when it first plays and then when it loops. And it drives me bonkers. I hate random noises like that. So like I'm focused on something else, like a TV show or whatever, and you get that repeat. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Okay. So typically when I'm watching it, if I'm in the living room with my wife, I'll throw like my AirPods in or something like that and actually have it only to me. But then I get the looks, because like I'll be dying laughing at some video and she's just like, what's so funny? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just
you
one of
wouldn't
these
get
videos.
It's
and then I show it to
or something.
And then she's like, no, I want to see it. And so I show it to her, and like you said, it's like a gamer video or something. She's like, I don't get it. I'm like, see, that's why I didn't want to show it to you. Come on. Yeah. I even warned you.
Me too.
I'm like, oh, maybe can I take my like back? I guess it's not funny anymore,
Yeah. But, my wife said I'm not funny. This isn't funny.
Sorry, guys. This isn't funny. I've actually been finding a lot of random Warzone moments that are just like what the hell moments in the game. So I kind of want to experience some of these moments because they're hilariously funny and it would be good content. I'm like, why can't that stuff happen to me in game? Come on, you know? But
it's like me and Sea of Thieves. There's always the clips of like boats all of a sudden flying in the sky and stuff. And like, that's never happened to me, but you see clips of it all the time.
Yeah, you just get the game plain Jane vanilla. The best experience I ever had with a glitch in a game was when Ghost Recon Breakpoint came out with their raid. I played it the very first day. That was, remember when we were talking about, actually I think it was on like episode 1 or 2 where we were talking about my longest stream ever. It was that day when I played that game. And so when we got to the raid, it was glitchy as all sin. Like, it was the most glitchy game that I've ever played. And there were things like, there was such bad desync that on my screen, I couldn't see people. And then on like the people I was playing with, they're like, you're standing right next to me, and I just see nothing. And then all of a sudden a boat blows up next to me, and just like the most random desync issues and just weird stuff. That one was pretty cool. But like, I don't know, I find glitches funny. Do you, like, have you ever experienced a glitch in a game that's just like so hilarious you kind of like, I'm glad I experienced that. I'm not even mad about it. Like, this is just hilarious.
I'm trying to remember what game it was, but there was a game like I was falling halfway into the floor, so I was like half a body running around.
Okay.
That was pretty funny. PUBG was probably my favorite of all time, though. I don't know if it's because my RAM was junk or something was up with my computer, but me and Luke used to play all the time. And for some reason, only my screen would glitch. And the cool thing about it is my screen wouldn't render buildings, and his would, which meant I could drive the cars through the buildings because I couldn't see them. But he was in the car with me, so on his screen, he's flying through walls and stairs.
Oh,
and like,
that would be cool.
Perfect. I actually pieced together his view and my view and made like this little YouTube video to watch after of like both our angles. It was pretty funny. People going over bridges looked like Harry Potter, like driving the car in the sky because there was no bridge.
So were you able to see people in houses, or like were the houses still there? You couldn't see the people inside, but you could just go through them?
It was actually almost like I was hacking. Like I felt like I was cheating because I could see the people and I could see the loot, but I couldn't see the building. So I knew where everything was. It only happened like 2 or 3 games. So we made the best of it and tried to hit people with cars that were hiding in buildings and stuff. But
so if you
I was a little worried to get banned.
if you went through the building in a car and went through a person, did they die?
Yes.
What? Wow, that you probably got a couple of reports on that one. Jeez. They're like, I'm in a closet. How did he drive over me? Oh man.
And then once I got out on the stairs, so Luke's game rendered the car correctly, or the server did. And the car just started flying all over the house and blew up and killed us both.
Yeah, like the collision detection freaks out on you or whatever, right? That's a crazy one. Do you still have that on your YouTube by chance?
I have it on a YouTube. I don't know which one. I'll find it and share it with you because it's funny.
Yeah, I want to see that one. We'll retweet it out on GG Weekly's Twitter account so everyone can see that. That's awesome. So I guess, we saw something pretty amazing come out this week. For me, it's really amazing. I guess I haven't really. We don't have the Twitter command in there yet. We should pay attention to that. But so something pretty cool came out. It's kind of like going to be reliving my childhood a little bit. I don't know how much you played it, but Mr. Tony Hawk, he's putting out a remake of his first and second game.
I played them a ton. So I am very excited.
That was like the only game that I played for a long time. Like, oh yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Once I got them, that was my life for, I don't even know how long. But
what was that, PlayStation 1?
I want to say it was PlayStation 1. Yeah. It might have been PlayStation 2 because for some reason I also remember having the analog sticks, which were at the end of life of the PlayStation 1 with the analog sticks, right?
See, I actually read, what is it, Vicarious, whoever's making the Tony Hawk.
Sure.
They said that was actually at first one of the little bit of an issue is that they had to, make it so the new game understood analog sticks because they didn't originally have it.
Okay.
But I
okay.
too
So
remember using the stick. So I don't know if it's just like, when did you stop playing Tony Hawk? Like, what was your last game you probably played in the series?
I want to say 3 was the last one that I played.
Okay.
I believe.
I think I stuck
so.
around till Underground 2.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
What was up with Underground back then? We had Need for Speed Underground and Tony Hawk Underground or something.
Everything
They're both
wanted to be.
underground, right?
Yeah. Need for Speed Underground was actually one of my favorite Need for Speed games
Same.
because it was like the one that you could literally customize every single thing on your car. Plus, it was during the time of Fast and the Furious, so you slap on the sweet graphics, make it
The
look
neon
like
lights.
you're Paul Walker driving in a video game, and that was a pretty fun game. But yeah, everything was underground back then for some reason. I don't even know why. Isn't that weird?
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Did you see the actual video of the Tony Hawk announcement where they did the old graphics and then the same thing but in the new graphics, so they like switch back and forth on a certain scene or a level?
It looks real nice. The characters, I think, are a little off, but that's seeing just a quick clip.
Yeah.
But the scenes looked so clean, and I heard they worked really hard to make it like, if you remember a gap or you remember like a line you used to do, it's going to be identical with the news.
Awesome.
Like, so they want you to feel at home. Like, the nostalgia will come in.
I wonder how many things will just start flooding back to my mind, like knowing those epic runs where you can just, the whole entire level was one giant score streak. Like, I wonder how that's going to come back, because it's been, how many years has it been since Tony Hawk 2? I can't even.
Oh god.
I can't even think
Tony
how
Hawk,
long that is.
Yeah,
If someone in chat can,
PlayStation 1.
yeah, if someone in chat can look it up real quick, tell us when Tony Hawk 1 and Tony Hawk 2 actually came out. That'd be cool, and then we'll throw it in here. But oh man, it's been so long. But I guarantee there's going to be certain things in certain levels you're going to be like, wait, I'm remembering something. I got to go this way and that way, and you know,
for sure. Or like the secret tapes over here, or the skate letters.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited to play that. Kind of like we were talking about in one of our episodes, that's going to be a game you absolutely 1000% have to play with a controller, though. Like,
probably,
you have to.
yeah. It's going to be online too with your buddies, so I'm stoked for that.
That's going to be cool. I mean, let's drop it into one of the C2 tournaments. Do a Tony Hawk tournament,
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm down for that.
That would be so much
cheats.
fun. Yeah, no cheats.
It was Vicarious Visions is who is working on that game.
Okay, cool.
I knew them because they actually helped with Destiny for a while. I forget on which part. Luna's in chat. She could probably remind me if I forget. But
okay.
Yeah, they helped with Destiny for a little bit.
Really interesting. So they're a pretty top tier studio, then, I would assume.
There we go. The Warmind DLC.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Protocol specifically, she says. So yeah, I mean, cool stuff. I've heard great things about the studio. I don't know them other than that, and now the Tony Hawk. I'm sure they've done other things I know of, and just
yeah, just
I'm
like
not thinking of it, but
under the radar type things. What's
Right.
even really, really cool is that the old soundtrack, they got all the licensing back for all the old songs, and
most of the old songs.
well, most of the old songs. Yeah, all the good
It's
ones,
a
like
mis-
Power Man 5000 and stuff like that. Like the really
Yeah.
good stuff that is instantly you're gonna remember it. That stuff's there. Maybe one or two that you kind of wish were there, but in the world of games we play now, we just turn off the music anyway and play whatever playlist we want, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's.
I
Go
wonder what new songs too. Like, I'm excited to hear the old ones, but I'm curious if they're gonna throw kind of like a mixed bag in there.
Man,
I'm stoked.
That Power Man 5000 song, I listened to that 5,000 times. We'll just go there. Like, it was one of the only songs I played all the time. Like, I love that
I think I
song.
just let it play through. Like, just every song, didn't care.
Just every song. Okay. Yeah, I turned a couple of them off and then, just kept my specific playlist. But, so, I mean, any other games that you wish they would remaster from the past?
Oh gosh, I mean, I was excited that they remastered Spyro, and for some reason still didn't play it, even though I was really excited about that. So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm always excited if they remaster a Zelda. I'll never upset about those. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of those, like, I didn't really get into Jak and Daxter. I wasn't a big Crash Bandicoot guy, because I'm thinking PlayStation probably because of Tony Hawk. But
Yeah. Okay. I would like, now that they did Tony Hawk, I kind of want Dave Mirra's BMX and Aggressive Inline to come back. Like, because during that time, I was actually skating and BMX racing and doing all that stuff. So having those games come back would also be really cool, in my opinion. I would like that.
What about SSX Tricky, the snowboard game or whatever?
See, I would rather, instead of SSX, I would rather 1080 snowboarding. Because I think 1080 snowboarding was better. And I don't know if it's just that I played it more, but 1080 snowboarding was my game. I remember grinding out, learning how to do that 1080, that button mashing thing that I finally figured out to do it. Basically, I had no idea how I completed it, but I completed it in a half pipe, and I was like, I did it. I never am going to play this game again. I'm done forever.
I've beat the game.
I've broken a controller already.
Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark's my answer. The original.
But they gave you a Perfect Dark that was on, next gen at the time. Wasn't that?
Yeah,
that was
PS3.
Xbox? Was it PS3 or PS2? Wasn't it one of the PlayStations, or was it Xbox? No, it was Xbox. It was Xbox 360.
Rare, so it's Xbox exclusive. Rare is owned by Microsoft now, so everything's Xbox exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah, they did Perfect Dark Zero, and I don't know if they did a remake, but if they did, I didn't play it, so I would like a really nice one.
Yeah, just like a complete remake of the OG game, right?
Yeah,
now,
just like 4K or at least 1080 and
remastered graphics, all the bells and whistles and everything. Well, there is one game that I was going to also say, but there's a project out there. I was going to say GoldenEye 007, but there's a project out there that's called GoldenEye 25, because next year is the 25th anniversary of GoldenEye, and they are redoing the entire game in the Unreal 4 engine. And I follow him on Twitter. I follow GoldenEye 25 on Twitter, so I don't even know who the developer is, but they're going asset by asset and remaking absolutely everything. And from the tweets, it's gonna be ridiculous. But here's the thing I worry about.
Shut down.
Levels, well, that and levels were so small back in those days, right? Like the scope of multiplayer that we have now, like, is huge, But back in those days, because you're on the N64 and that cruddy control system where you turn with the stick and then you have to strafe with your C buttons and all that stuff, movement wasn't as fluid around the levels. So I'm worried that the levels remastered to be a 1-to-1 match of what they were are just going to be too small. Like, it's just going to be kind of hectic. It's going to be like Shipment in Call of Duty right now, like teeny.
I'm trying to picture the maps. I mean, the one with the bathrooms and stuff, that one didn't seem too small.
Facility.
But I might be forgetting it wrong, Like, it felt big back then, but as you said, I wasn't quick. I mean, if they keep it kind of the original Halo came back, and those maps aren't huge either, but they feel big because you can't run.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So you can't run, so everything's, you move slower. So then at least the small maps harder to get across.
It's kind of got the only other game that I can compare to right now that has smaller maps is Valorant, because the maps aren't huge in that game, but you can't sprint either. You're either like walking fast or walking slow, basically. So I think you may be right there. You may have something there. I don't know. Yeah,
I will say for me, I was a huge Halo fan, huge, and playing the original now, even remastered, it feels too slow. I feel hindered without that sprint. I'm constantly trying to run somewhere because you get so used to the new games. You're getting shot and you want to sprint to cover or make a quick
slide
move.
Or any number of the freedom. Yeah, there's no freedom. I always get thrown off by a game that has no ADS.
Okay.
For some reason, ADS is kind of like a staple, and I have to have it in first-person shooters nowadays. And every single time I get in there, it's my hand still does the ADS and then shoot motion, and I'll end up having to unmap the right mouse button just because I'll click it so often because of muscle memory. I don't know. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it really messes with me very, very badly.
Valorant has ADS, but I hear a lot of the guns you're better off not ADSing. And as you said, I ADS every fight because I've been ADSing in every game I play. I mean, it's just
when's the last time there was a game that was created without ADS? I can't even remember, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it.
Like even in third person games where you don't really have quote unquote ADS, you still have the zoom button where you like get closer over the shoulder and you get a little bit more of a sight line over your character or whatever.
Yeah, usually only the sniper truly ADSs.
Yeah.
But they all, like you said, they do give you like a little zoom, a little more like focused view of what you're shooting at.
Yeah, kind of like an over the shoulder instead of way above, like just looking off in the distance. Although, you know what drives me nuts about third-person games is the mismatched where you're pointing the cursor and then where the gun actually hits. You ever, like, you'll be behind a box and you're like, oh, I'm aiming at the guy's head, and then you fire and then it just hits the box in front of you.
And you hit the box.
And you're like...
Yeah. So Fortnite with windows, like anytime I play Fortnite, I try to shoot out windows and end up like raging because I'm shooting the wall that's protecting me instead of the character I'm clearly aiming at on my screen. And
yep, because you're trying to have the...
used to. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, at the very least, it has like, if you're aiming at something and then it's not going to actually go around said box or wall or whatever, there's a little teeny red dot. Like, it almost looks like a red dot sight, but it's not a red dot sight. So it's like, hey, you're not going to shoot where you think you're going to shoot. So adjust yourself. So that's kind of nice, but, you know, it gives you a little bit, because, like, how are you supposed to know? Just... I guess you're just supposed to learn it after a certain time. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But you're always trying to hold those angles, you know, for sniping out windows because someone else is going to shoot you in the face. You know how that goes.
Right.
So.
And as both of us, you know, we play a cluster of different games. Like, we don't stick to one enough that, like, even I'll play Fortnite a good amount and I hit the window every game. It's going to happen because it's not my only game. So I'm so used to everything else.
That's one thing that gets us, I guess, variety gamers, where we play a lot of different things, is that you never really become like the perfect expert at that one single game. You're probably a little bit more versed in like Destiny, but like, I wouldn't, if I had to quote a game, I'm looking over here because my games are right there. If I had to pick a game that I was best at, I would probably say Call of Duty, but it's not necessarily this Call of Duty. It's just Call of Duty in general, because I just kind of have the feel. Yeah, I just have the feel of those games because I've been playing them since Modern Warfare, the very first one, you know. Because who played it before that? No one wanted World Wars. Go away.
My brother had the World Wars, and I would only play zombies on... I think it was World War that had the zombie, the original.
Yes? Question mark? I think you're right. I think.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so we know what remastered games we'd like. What about... new games? Anything you're excited for now? Because, you know, the summer really got messed up in games. Like, I don't feel like anything has come out. We had that little Valorant thing with the beta, but like, it's been a really dry year. Is there anything that you're super excited about? I got a couple.
I think we mentioned it last episode, but for sure The Last of Us 2. I'm definitely excited about that. I mean, now I'm excited about Tony Hawk. There was another game that's not coming to my mind now that you ask, of course, but there was one more that they just announced that would come out in September. I remember the date, don't remember the game. If I remember it, I'll come back to it.
In September. There is a game coming out in September, and I feel like it's one that I am interested in as well, and I cannot for the life of me think of it.
We'll have a new big expansion, Destiny, in September, and a small one in 28 days, I think, so 26 days.
So you got some new content coming. That's nice.
You know, that one will be smaller. It's a season. It's just going to be some sort of activity that gets added and some little story probably. But still, something to look forward to.
I know that you were kind of disappointed with the current season, right, in Destiny? Do you think, do you have any preview of what's coming out, or are you a little bit more excited just because of change?
Yeah, spoiler-free, we know the... pyramid ships, the Doritos, the pizza slices, whatever you want to call them, are kind of slowly invading towards us. And we either think, you know, it's going to come at the beginning of this season.
Okay.
So that could be kind of the setup. That'd be cool. We get to learn a little more about that. As I said, I don't follow lore a ton. So, you know, other people will be like, probably know a lot more what's going on. I'm just always excited to see anything new. You know, it's anything that refreshes the game for you and brings all your friends back, hopefully. You get excited because you get back into it. So
I think that's the most important side for me. Like, because like for Call of Duty, for instance, I pretty much have just been playing that exclusively recently. But there's, seasons and more content, and then, people will jump in, play a couple weeks or whatever, and then drop out again. The fair weather fans, we call them. No, whatever. There's some pretty cool stuff happening in Call of Duty, which makes me excited. So, like, there's these new key cards. There's a couple new things. I haven't heard it yet, but I read online today that people are starting to hear, like, wolves or dogs or something. Like, new sounds are being introduced in the game because something's going to happen to the map. We have no idea what it's going to be. So it's just exciting to have those little mysteries, quote unquote. And I think this is I want to say Activision, but this is Infinity Ward's push for it to be like, these are our events. We're not going to have concerts like Fortnite or something like that, or movie trailer releases. These are going to be our events where it's a little bit more, I guess, fitting within the game, if that makes sense. Well, I guess, So
we discussed that last week too, that we think if Call of Duty had a concert, I don't think it'd feel it'd feel weird.
All of a sudden the stadium opens up on the Warzone map and there's just a concert in there. You have to check your weapons at the door or something weird like that.
I mean, they could probably do it and it'd still be cool, but Fortnite is like such a perfect, it's cartoony and goofy enough that they can kind of do anything and it doesn't feel out of place.
Yeah. I think you're right, because, and also their audience is different. So their audience is more receptive to literally, like, you could pretty much do anything in that game and the audience would be like, yay, we're happy. And, I'm not bashing on the fact that it's a lot of younger players, but, like, I wasn't excited about the concert. I was excited about the Star Wars reveal, but not the concert.
Hey, listen, Fortnite people got upset about shotgun nerfs and stuff, just like everybody else.
That's true.
Yeah, I actually did attend that concert last week with Postal.
Okay.
We only watched the first 2 out of 3, I think, or so. Maybe 1.5. Nothing against the next people. I actually think I would have preferred them, but just it was cool. It just, there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was definitely less of a concert than the last one. The Travis Scott was much more like throwing you in the sky, underwater. This one was pretty like you were actually at a stage and kind of got to dance or whatever. They did, however,
and by dance you mean
it had its own map.
Emotes and jumping. That's it.
Right. You could do emotes, jumping. They had bounce pads set up so you could like fly back and forth. But they had its own map for it. It was kind of a clone of the current map, but it had like, I don't know how to, like, vending machines. You could go buy like tomatoes to throw at each other, and it had like it had all these little mini games and stuff set up. I guess it was set up all day, so you could just like hang out with your friends, go fishing, like race each other. Like, I don't know. It was kind of cool.
Well, they released Party Royale, right? Which is like
they got
rid of all the guns, and all you do is build and hang out, I guess.
I don't think you could build, but you could, like I said,
you can't even build?
You could throw like paintballs at each other and shoot each other with these like non-hurting like paintball weapons and stuff. Like,
it's a little bit more friendly for. I mean, that could technically open it up to even a younger generation of players that maybe their parents are like, no, we don't want you to have the weapons side of things. But yeah, you can hop in there and throw snowballs and do whatever, throw tomatoes and crap at each other, Postal in the chat actually nailed it, I think. Cyberpunk. That's the one we were thinking about for September, the new game release.
That's not the one I'm excited about.
That's not the one you're excited about? Come on, Keanu Reeves is in there.
I know a lot about it, and nothing against it. I'll check it out. As more trailers come, I'll start watching them. I'm not going to get myself hyped yet. I don't know if it's for me yet or not. I haven't decided.
Okay. You know what's interesting? It's got about the same hype level, or at least from my outside point of view, it's got the same hype level as, what's the other game that did that? Death Stranding, the Kojima game. Okay. So everyone was talking about how this game is going to change the world of gaming, how it's going to be such an amazing game, and I was just like, nah, it doesn't look like it's for me. And then when it finally came out and the reviews were like, I mean, the reviews said it was a fabulous game, but it's also, they were saying that it's very, very particular in its audience. So you get the people that are like, I mean, it's a fabulous game, but it was boring. Or it's a fabulous game, but it really didn't grab me. So that's kind of the I guess, group that I'm feeling in Cyberpunk right now. But it's almost like, I almost feel like I have to get Cyberpunk for some reason. You ever feel that where a game's coming out and the hype level's to a certain degree that you're like, I feel like I have to play this. I have to at least try it, right?
Very rarely, only if it's a multiplayer, and I know all my friends like it's a story multiplayer. You know, Division, Destiny, Apex, not Apex, Anthem, like those type of games.
Oh,
luckily I didn't buy Anthem, but any game like that people are hyped about. If my friends are all getting it, I do feel that little bit of like, even if I don't think it's for me, I'm like, I should probably buy it because if the story's good, we'll all play.
Yeah,
single player games, not so much.
And then also with the friend aspect, at least you have, like, you know that the moment that game comes out, if you don't join in, you're just going to be by yourself over here on an island playing the old game. And you're like, I want to kind of team up with my buddies, but they're all playing this other game. I probably should have just got it so I could just be with the group, you know? Because you have that standard gaming group typically that you normally lean towards a collection of people, you know?
They're in our chat right now.
Well, so speaking of summer being a little dry on not only games, but also gaming news. So did you hear about that summer of gaming or summer of games or whatever that we're going into since we don't have any of the cons, which is unfortunate for you because you're a con baby. Is that what con-ite? I don't know.
Con goer? I don't really know if we have a word.
I don't know.
Conner?
A con.
I like that one.
That's perfect.
I go to quite a few cons usually. Okay. Last year I went to 4. Yeah, 4 cons last year. I would have done the same this year, but
which ones did you hit last year?
I do PAX East every year because it's an hour from home. Yep. I do PAX West because Seattle's like my favorite place in the world. TwitchCon because we stream, and I did GuardianCon for the first time last year because although it's changed names now. It's Gaming Convention Expo, I think.
Oh, what?
It used to be GuardianCon, and it was very Destiny heavy. It's still Destiny heavy, but they do have like Borderlands and some other stuff.
Wedge in some of the other games in there. Okay. I've never actually... I've only been to like Comic-Con, which is not really gaming per se, but I want to go to PAX East, so I might hit you up. Next time we finally get cons back, I might hit you up and be like, hey, I'm going to PAX with you. But
next year, you got a place to stay.
Thank you. I will. I mean, how many hours are you away from Cleveland, would you say?
I've driven to Northwest Ohio, so a little further. It took me 13 hours to get to like Bryan, Ohio, I think it was.
Okay. So, not too bad. That's not a bad drive. Take a long
12
weekend.
Hours, maybe.
Okay, I can do that. Or maybe just, hopefully, flight prices go down and I can just hop over there real quick and be done with it in like an hour. Yeah. That'd be nice.
There you go. I am bummed about the cons, but as you said, summer of games.
I think it's called Summer of Games, but it's basically going to be just a bunch of companies kind of coming together that would normally go to these cons, and they're going to do online events, which kind of just sounds like they're just going to do like a pre-recorded YouTube video. I'm hoping they do some live stuff because live has a different feel to it, Hopefully it's not like the PlayStation GDC announcement where they had like the fake crowd in the video for the pan outs. You didn't see that? Okay, so in the video at first I thought they were just like a still image, like a cardboard cutout or something like that, because they were shadowy figures and it would look like a normal audience would look, but it was just 5 people ish, but they were moving just slightly. Like swaying back and forth to try to make it feel like it was real people, but there was never any cheers or anything like that. It was just you knew it was like stock footage of a crowd or whatever. Hopefully they don't do that kind of stuff. It would be much better if they just somehow did like some kind of big VC where, well, no, that would actually be terrible because people don't know how to contain themselves over microphones. Just going to a Call of Duty match in public, Mike, one day.
Oh, please don't.
Don't do that. You will not.
I only heard about the Summer of Games, surprisingly, because, Bungie is on the list of people attending, or I don't know what you want to call it, because attending is probably not really the word, but...
Yeah, submitting.
Bungie's on the list, so I of course heard about it because I follow everything Bungie, and with that, they did announce that they would be on next-gen console, so we got a little bit of a sneak preview of kind of something they might talk a little bit about.
Yeah, so did you see So Unreal Engine 5 did a preview today on the PS5 hardware. It's weird though because they called it a gameplay footage, but it looked like in-game footage that was pre-rendered path kind of a thing. You know what I'm talking about? So they say gameplay because it's technically the engine that would be running the game that you would actually be playing on, but there's no one sitting at the sticks or sitting at the keyboard navigating it. It's just a pre-planned route. It's almost like a QuickTime event in a Lara Croft game or something like that, you know? And it was really impressive, like really impressive. It was all in 4K. It was buttery smooth, like, because, you know, PlayStation, they were showing off their Spider-Man footage where they would compare the old load times on the PS4, even just going through the city, so like flying through the city in like a jet kind of a situation. And then they did PS5, and they were able to go like 10 times faster through the city just because the assets would load fast enough to where the city wouldn't look terrible. And I mean, it's moving fast like that, and it's buttery smooth, and it looks gorgeous, and the particle effects are amazing. It's just, it's one of those things that I'm still kind of salty about it because it's not gameplay, and I know it's not gameplay. No one's at the sticks doing all that cool stuff. I wish they were, but... And then, in addition to that, we get Ubisoft, or Ubisoft. Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft? I say it wrong every time, and I always forget which one it is.
Ubi, but who knows? Anyway. One of those names, you know.
You know, those guys. The guys that do open world everything, basically. So they came out and said, okay, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's going to be on next-gen consoles, but we're going to target 30 frames per second. What?
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, welcome to next gen, 30 frames per second, 4K. Wait, doesn't my PS4 do that? Or the Xbox do that already? Come on. Can we get a boost?
I read comments about this because I was interested a little bit, and people were actually posting the specs of Odyssey. That's the Assassin's Creed, right? Odyssey.
Odyssey is the most recent one.
Yeah, so they were posting specs on that based on different graphics cards. And it didn't actually run that smooth on anything, even on a PC, like with a 2080 and stuff. It wasn't like phenomenal frames. And people were saying they just think they're bad at optimizing their game. Yeah.
People were complaining about Odyssey for being too big, too. They were saying the open world's too much, like the story's too long. It's just too big of a game, so they're bringing Valhalla back in a little bit. But I don't know, like, it just feels weird to me to say, oh, next-gen consoles with the same specs, if you will, for gaming. So you still have the 30 frames, you still have the 4K, you know? It just seems weird to me. Like,
I'd take more frames and not 4K any day.
Oh, personally. Yeah. Like, if they did a couple more native resolutions, so like the PS4 Pro, 1080 or 4K, it doesn't do real well in between anything else. It would be nice if the PS5's like, oh, you got a 1440p monitor? Okay, whatever. You got a 4K? Right. Okay, whatever. You got a 1080? Okay, whatever. Like, give me some of that in-between space where we don't have to spend as much. Or like, because obviously, like, you have the same Dell monitor I have. We could just pop an HDMI into that thing and play straight on that thing, and we'd be like, okay, well, we don't have 4K, which is fine, whatever. I'm sitting a foot away from this thing, but I got 1440 at 60 frames.
Yeah, I'd take that. I mean, I'll say hopefully other games don't follow this lead. I know for a fact that if Destiny comes out at 30 frames on next gen, it's going to get very bad reviews from our community, because that's all they've been asking for forever is more frames on console. It's why, like, any PC guys who want to play on console, because like I said, PC's struggling with a little bit of hacking, a lot of like aimbots and stuff. Console's not getting nearly the amount of cheaters just because it's harder to hack. And
yeah. Also, so if you get a console ban, it's a little bit bigger of a deal than on a PC account ban. Too. You know? Yeah. So a lot of people are like saying they might switch to PlayStation or something to play PvP, so they don't have to deal with that. But then it's like 30 frames, and most of us aren't used to 30 frames. So is Destiny only 30 frames even on like the pros in the one? I want to say yes. I haven't played it in 2 years on a console or whatever. So if I'm wrong, please don't murder me in my community. But I think it is 30. Either way, I usually run over 100 on my PC. So it's a brutal exchange either way. Even 60. Even if it is 60, we know it's probably not locked at 60. It's probably, we guarantee 30, But 60, you can fluctuate by 30 frames, and we don't know. Whatever. Like, even if you put it in the performance mode or whatever. I had the similar thing in Horizon Zero Dawn, where you could put it in visuals mode, which it was locked at 30. It looked a lot nicer. Or you could put it in performance mode, where you had more frames, but it wasn't locked at 60. It would fluctuate between... I mean, I had drops that felt like they were 15 at times. Just, I don't know, that... You know, you drop 20 frames off of 60 and you're like, what is this? A slideshow? You know, it's just terrible. But I guess next gen, I really thought we would be at that point where we no longer have to worry about 30 frames anymore. I thought it was just going to be 60 pretty much all the time, you know? I don't know. I don't know why I thought that, because there was no like article or any hint that was going to be the standard. I guess I just kind of expected it for some reason. I don't know
as
why.
We said, as a welcome to the PC, gamers, but I mean, it's rare I'm below 60 on any game on my PC.
I mean,
unless the game's just capped, I guess. But
have you ever like saw it go under 60 and not instantly went to graphics settings and you're like, what can I drop down to get more? I got to get to that 100. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I always do.
What do I need at least 100.
Yep.
So I think that's why, you expect if we're gaming above 100 basically all the time, a couple drops, but you'd think they'd at least be at 60 minimum on consoles.
Well, because, every single time the consoles come out, or every single time they're talked about, they're like, well, they're just a PC, just in a box, in a smaller form factor and everything. You're like, no, it's different, because that's why you have to port it. And like,
hardware-wise, I guess, kinda, but
I get, yeah, they have the same.
Now, right?
They have an SSD, they have RAM, they have video cards and stuff, but they're still not like a true PC. It's just one of those things.
They're just slightly, they're different.
Speaking of graphics, though, NVIDIA is doing a press conference tomorrow talking about their new graphics cards. Have you read any rumors about those? I'm pretty excited, actually. Even though I don't need one.
Series, 30 or 3, 3080 and...
It's going to be the 3000 series, so you'll have the 3060, 70, and 80, and then probably the TI and Super Editions or whatever they may be. But the rumors are saying that the new 3080 is going to be 4 times faster is, I think, one of the most reasonable numbers. I saw 10 times, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of a lot.
I heard 40% more bandwidth, I think is what I heard. And that was about it. Some guy
RTX is supposed to be no effect on frames whatsoever. That would be kind of interesting because, when I turn on RTX, I lose anywhere from 10 to 15 frames, which is not a lot, really. But I don't know if it's just my eyes or if it's the games that aren't like Call of Duty. You turn on RTX and I go, I don't see a difference.
I don't know if I've ever used it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll turn it on and I just stand there because, when you're moving fast and stuff, you're probably not going to see it. So I'm looking at sunlight on a puddle or something like that, or shadows and stuff. And I'm like, it kind of looks the same to me. I don't know if it's, but it may not be optimized for RTX or something like that. Right. I've heard a lot about Minecraft's RTX beta and it's supposed to be absolutely amazing. And I'm like, wait, but it's all blocks. What?
No, I've seen it. It's actually pretty incredible.
Okay.
Night shadows, nice reflection. It definitely adds somewhat of a realism to a blocky game, which I know sounds silly.
That's what I want though. So when you turn on ray tracing, this magical ray tracing thing, you want it to be whoa, that's a big difference. Not like Call of Duty where I turn it on and go, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me.
I guess if they didn't optimize it for it, it probably doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, without any performance impact, if you get it a 3080 is what they're saying, or the 3000 series in general, it's the new Ampere. What's the turning is what we have now, right? Turning processing.
I have no idea.
But yeah, they're going. There's a new architecture or whatever underneath it, and it's supposed to be you can turn on RTX and it doesn't matter, or ray tracing, and it doesn't even matter.
That'll be cool.
Will
you buy
also, I'm gonna want to.
Of course.
The one thing though is because my 2080 is pretty new, so I might be able to get a little bit of cash for that or something like that. But we'll see there. But they're also talking about the potential of the prices coming down a little bit because the 2080 Ti is ridiculous. It's expensive. Full retail is what, $12.99 on that, something like that.
Maybe. I mean, I got the regular 2080 for what, like between 6 and 800. I think it was 6 something.
Yeah, I got the normal 2080 as well, and I think I paid $650 for it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Somewhere in there, and I think the Ti is like it's like $1,000, like over $1,000. So they're saying that because AMD is Radeon, right? The other one, Radeon people. I don't follow the other graphics card guys. The AMD Radeon, right? Or Radeon, whatever. Anyway,
I don't know. I also don't follow.
Right. NVIDIA is the only video card that's out there, guys. Whatever. But they're saying because their video cards are getting pretty powerful, but their prices are staying a little bit lower, that they're hoping that NVIDIA is going to kind of drop the prices of their top of the line, like 3080 Ti's and stuff. So, I mean, it would be really hard to not sell my 2080 and get a 3080 if it would be like a $200 difference for a massive performance gain, you know? I don't know, though.
My problem is I my 2080 to the baggy in her computer instead, so I wouldn't even really be making any money towards the new one.
Right. That makes sense. Well, we'll see tomorrow. They're going live. I put a note in here. They go live at 9 a.m. tomorrow, U.S. East. So if you want to watch it, it's called the Graphics Technology Conference. If you want to,
at least tune in, or at least see the bullet points after it.
Yeah, on something like that, I don't think I'm going to tune in, because they're going to get into all the really detailed, like, teraflops and CUDA cores and all that stuff that I'm going to be like, I don't care. Show me, just, does it run the games better, and can I get more frames? That's all I care about. Come on. Like,
I'm not like super nerdy into that stuff. It's like you said, it's going to be, show me the stat difference. What am I getting? Okay, cool.
Show me the bar that is the 2080 here and the 3080 up here, and I'll be like, oh, I got it. Okay, it's faster. Yeah, sweet. How many frames do I get extra? Because I don't want to pay a bunch of money for 10 more frames. No thanks. I want to be able to max out this monitor 100% of the time, you know? No dips below 155 at all.
That'd be nice.
Wouldn't it?
That would be real nice.
Yeah.
So I think we usually do it at the beginning of the show, but I don't think I asked you. You play anything new in the past week?
I've started to play something offline. It's not something new. So, GOG ran a sale on Dying Light the other day, and it was only $17. And I played a little bit of it on PlayStation 4. I didn't ever beat the game, but I really liked the feel of it being a parkour zombie shooter game, you know? I enjoyed that a lot, so I picked it up for $17, started it up, started playing through it a little bit, and I think I want to do one of the things where I run through the whole story on stream or something like that, but that's really the only new thing that I've been playing. I've been entering into Call of Duty tournaments like it's my job for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
and I pro on us.
Yeah, I had to miss a couple of them, but one other thing that I found that's my new addiction is 3daimtrainer.com.
I tried one of those, and I thought it was lame, but
this one,
some of the Steam ones, like Steam games, will do it too.
So this one is, you download this little app onto your PC, and you click on the things online, and then it brings you to the app on your PC, and it's just, it looks like, I don't know, it's the simplest graphics on the planet. It's just balls and random things and random shapes and stuff that you shoot. But it's just to train your hand for aiming with mouse. That's it. Like, you don't even walk around. You just stand in one spot and you ADS and just shoot things. So like,
I played for 15 minutes this week, so that's actually really funny. Like, I did it this week.
I'll have it up, and when I'm just sitting here bored, I'm just like click, whatever. I don't know. So that's a new thing that I've been kind of addicted to. My son saw me playing it one time, and he's like, I want to play that. Okay, whatever. So we put it up. You can actually play it on a Mac as well, so you can play it in the browser version, which is kind of nice for him, because he has my old like Mac computer that I don't use because I have this nice PC now. And he's been playing it, so he'll sit behind me sometimes and he'll be like, here, pick this one, and then we'll see who gets the best score. So far, I'm still winning, but there's only a little bit of time left before he starts to win. So I'm going to relish in it now. I'm like, haha, you suck, you're terrible. What'd you say?
Yeah, what up in his face? I said, please tell me he's not using like a trackpad or a magic mouse.
No, he actually has. So he bought the same mouse that I have, the G502, the wired version though. So he uses the same thing, and then he actually bought himself one of the hard mouse pads, the Razer Firefly or whatever that he uses to game with. But of course he's on Mac, but you can play Fortnite on there, and that's all he really cares about, you know. So, but that's cool. Yeah, it does exactly what he needs it to do, so that's pretty nice. He's always wanted to be a PC gamer, so now he can, kind of, you know.
Yeah, slowly transitioning.
I bought all of the Jackbox games.
Okay.
Because I got Jackbox Party Pack 2 with the COVID-19 bundle that they were doing on Humble Bundle. So I bought that and I got that game, and then one night we played with some friends that live in California. And now it's just like an every Saturday thing where we do the Jackbox game. So I picked them all up because they were on sale on Jackbox.com. That's a new one. I guess I've been playing a lot of new things. And then
you said you're going on a list.
Yeah, right. And then Osu. Have you ever heard of Osu? It's OSU with an exclamation point.
Isn't that the thing you click like on the beat and you like swipe around and stuff?
Yes, so it's like these little circles that you click around to the beat of the music. It's just like a amuse yourself game for a little while. And then you go onto their website and there's a bunch of songs. Like people just custom map everything, kind of like Beat Saber, but less physical, you know? So there's that too. So yeah.
I heard to get good at that, you have to get a, what are those called? You know, like the drawing tablet thing that hooks up to your PC?
And with the pen?
Yeah.
Oh, just to like tap around. That'd be interesting.
You tap and you do the drawing, you know, like you draw the shapes instead of using a mouse.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because some of the arcs are...
Never played.
Some of the arcs are kind of awkward because like you'll have to arc one way and then come back and arc the other way, and that just feels like an awkward movement for a mouse because, you know, it's a perfect arc, and with a mouse you're like, I'm never going to have a perfect arc. But with a pen, that might be a little bit easier. That's interesting.
Yeah, there you go. You can become a pro at OSU or OSU or whatever it's called.
OSU, I think it's called. Yeah, OSU, or I don't know. What about you?
People stream it. Not interested in it. I mean, I don't even know what got you into that, but that's funny.
So 3D Aim Trainer was more or less of just like a time killer because, I don't know, because sometimes you don't want to start up Call of Duty and like run through the level and do all this stuff. I'm just like, I don't know, I just want to click on things and have just kind of a mindless game that I can just whatever. And it fit the bill perfectly because, you know, little shapes bounce around, you just shoot the shapes and you get the scores at the end. So you get your score, your accuracy. Yeah. If you missed by scrolling too far, if you missed by not going far enough, all kinds of things. It teaches you flicks, tracking, all the different skills that you would need in a first-person shooter. So that one was more or less...
You are at the end of like a month or something.
Right, all of a sudden I'm just like awesome at Warzone or something like that. But anyway, the other one was actually when I mentioned Aim Trainer to some of my coworkers, one of my other coworkers go, have you ever seen Osu? That's the thing that I use to just practice clicking. Here's the difference. I use 3D Aim Trainer because I'm a first-person shooter guy. He uses Osu because he's a League of Legends and Dota 2 guy. So he's clicking on characters kind of like that, rather than me. I'm actually tracking things and, you know, shooting stuff. So it's just a different world that we came from that made us gravitate towards.
I would have never thought of that. Practicing it makes total sense, but I just wouldn't have thought of it.
Yeah, because I mean, there's super fast click lines that you have to do. There's drag lines. There's all kinds of different things in that game. But so he turned me onto that. Played it a couple times, and it's not fun with the default songs, but once you get some music that you actually are a fan of, that's when it starts to become fun. Because now you're listening to music, but playing a game at the same time, you know?
Yeah, it's like Rock Band or something, right? And
exactly, yeah. Oh man, I miss Rock Band so much. The drums. I loved the drums on Rock Band so much.
Rock Band was a ton of fun. I miss it too. We still have it, so, you know, maybe someday I'll get a group together and we'll play.
Well, if I stay over for PAX, you better still have it because that'll happen.
There we go. That's when we'll play.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, past week, I've played, I think only one new game. I've been playing it off stream as well, only. The new Star Wars Fallen Order. I mean, obviously not super new anymore.
That game is so good.
The newest, and it's, I don't know how I feel yet. I'm enjoying myself. A lot of cinematics, which I'm not a big fan of. The gameplay is fun. It's punishing.
How far are you in? Just started, or?
No, you know, I've been to 3 or 4. I've done the second tomb, if you want to call it.
Sure. So the game gets amazing when you start to like have all kinds of options in combat. So it's kind of like I compare it to PS4 Spider-Man. Did you play PS4 Spider-Man?
No, but I've seen it.
Or like Batman Arkham games, or basically any of those games that you start off and it's a combat game, but as the game progresses, you start to unlock more things that you can do in combat, and you have just more power, you have more options, it's no longer Struggle Town because you can counter pretty much anything. So that game gets really, really cool with the lightsaber battles and the Force stuff later in the game. Like there's going to be this point in the game.
Did you play on?
The hardest. I always play
Did
on the hardest difficulty.
I played one. I'm playing one below that because I've seen people struggle with the game, and I didn't want to get too ticked.
Yeah,
there are some fights hard.
It's weird because the hardest game I've ever played on the max difficulty was actually Horizon Zero Dawn, and I struggled through it for the whole time. And by the end of the game, I felt like I don't know if it's just like I beat it the first try on the hardest difficulty, which is not the first try because you die like 7,000 times, but it feels like the first try because you got through it. I don't know, whatever. But I've ever since I want to say it was like PS3 when I started just playing right away on the hardest difficulty on every game that I ever have. So games like Call of Duty campaigns that lock you out of the harder difficulties until you beat the other ones really tick me off. I'm like, I don't want to play on normal so I can get to very hard, so I can get to whatever, realistic or whatever it's called.
How many times do you expect me to play this game?
Yeah, I don't want to play through it 17 times so I can beat all the difficulties. No, thank you. I want to play the hardest one, and that's it.
I'm actually impressed. I wish you streamed. Did you stream Fallen Order?
Nope, not at all.
I wish you did. There are some of the bosses that, I feel like I'm a decent gamer. I've played a lot of games, and there was at least one fight where I was like ready to give up on the game because I was having that much of a struggle.
Damn, that game is hard.
Optional, or maybe I did him too early. It was one of those big like ogre-y type looking dudes, Jabber Walker or something.
Yeah, if you get there and haven't gone through, because I'm one of the side quest guys where like I will do literally absolutely everything before I go to the boss, just so that I know that I'm a little bit OP, just a touch, because I would rather be OP than them be, because I know the frustration level that will ensue if I'm the weaker one. So I always do literally everything possible, and I try to 100% up to the point where I'm like, okay, now I have to fight them. Okay, let's go.
I need a new ability sometimes, and you have to. I noticed that they do reuse planets a lot, which I didn't love. Like they'll be like, you'll go through and you'll be like, why can't I get that chest? Like, what am I doing something wrong? I've spent like probably 10 minutes on a few of them, like thinking I'm just missing something.
Yeah, you have to have something.
I have to upgrade. Yeah. Yep. So that was a little It's been fun. I don't want to trash on the game. I've played 2 nights, like a couple hours each night, and I enjoyed myself. It's been good to be off stream and just kind of like blow off some steam, try to kill some guys that are tough, and it's been fun.
That's another thing. So, I'm a frequent browser of Reddit, and I listen to podcasts and I'm in a bunch of different Discords for miscellaneous things. And like, there's people that once they become a streamer, stop being a gamer. Like, they're just a streamer that plays games permanently. And like every single time they play a game, they are also streaming, no matter what. And I convinced myself before I came back this second time, because I was doing that same thing back before I took my break. And you just get burnt out after a while, and then gaming doesn't feel like a hobby anymore. You're like, now I have to do all this extra stuff just to be able to play a video game. And I promised myself that I would make time specifically to game while not streaming. Because another thing is like, sometimes I want to trash talk people, and I don't want that. I don't want that recorded. Sometimes you have to, whatever. I think I was trying to recruit you on Friday, wasn't I, to get into Call of Duty with me or whatever.
We almost played Call of Duty a few times this weekend, and it's probably my fault this time that we didn't. But we had a few chances. I know last night you asked me. I said I could, and then at the same time, a bunch of friends reached out to do something I've been trying in Destiny, so that's how it goes. But
no, that makes sense. If your main game comes up, you're obviously like, if my kids want me to play Fortnite, and we've been playing Fortnite for a while, and my friends are like, let's play Call of Duty. I'm like, hey kids, let's play Call of Duty instead, because I can't stand this Fortnite stuff, But your main game comes up, and you wanna jump into your main game. It makes complete sense.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I make time specifically to not stream and play games because
like you said, you got it. It's one of my favorite hobbies, and I've said the same thing always. Like, there are games that I want to just play. They're for me. I kind of want to enjoy the story. I don't want to have to, like, not fake, that it's cool or something, but like, I don't want to have to show that I think something's cool, or I want to like flop back in my chair. I mean, right. I'm playing on order with a controller. First time using a controller in a while, so I'm full lean back in the chair,
chilling out.
Playing. Yeah,
that's one thing that I do with a controller that I don't do with a mouse and keyboard. Like, mouse and keyboard, I lock the chair so it doesn't lean back because I don't want it getting too far away from my hands or whatever. So, and I'm right up on the setup. But with a controller, I like have my feet up. I'm just relaxing. I'm like, whatever, like completely. Yeah, it's probably better for our
back switch to PC, huh? Because
right,
like you said, better posture.
PC helps your back. Hashtag.
I think doing actual activity might be even better for your back, but
Whoa. Let's not go too far here, Noodles. Come on now.
Just get a better chair, all right?
See? That's all you got to do. Secret Lab.
I'm actually, we both, if you're not watching the stream, we both have the gaming bucket chair, racing style type thing. I've read a lot back and forth on whether they're actually good or bad for your back, your spine, your whatever. I still haven't decided on one way or the other.
I have this opinion. So I think no matter what kind of chair you get, a good chair is going to cost you money. Because if you go and you look at just a normal, I'm doing air quotes, a normal office chair, you're still going to be spending like $400 or $500 on that chair. Yeah. It's just going to look like a normal everyday executive chair, whatever. But you could spend that same $400 or $500 on a cool looking chair, a little bit of a gamer style chair, and it does the same things. The key is some companies, they actually don't even care about that. They're just like, let's just make it look cool, whatever. Other companies like Secret Lab called my attention a lot because they're like, put in how tall you are, put in your weight. This is the chair that you should buy. Like they tell you which chair that they've specifically designed for that weight range and that height of person. So it felt like maybe it's just a fake computer program that's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But still, it felt a little bit more like, okay, well, I want to make sure I'm getting the right chair for my height, my weight, all etc. So
I think it has some merit to it.
If you're gonna get a chair, why not make it look cool? Eventually, if you have one of those brown executive chairs, you're like, ew, I don't like this chair anymore. I wish I had one of those cool ones,
Yeah. So I even mentioned it because I was on some websites this week. We're all inside most of the time, so we're online shopping, and started looking at standing desks. I wanted one for probably a good year. Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be really nice to be able to game and stand, especially games that are a little more relaxed. Maybe even stream while standing. I'd try it. So I'm looking at these standing desks. They're on sale right now. Quarantine special, it says, or something. Yeah. And they have chairs too. And I started reading the reviews, and everybody's raving about how this chair made their back feel better. So I started digging this week, and I don't know, I'm debating getting a new chair and kind of giving the review, but they're, like you said, it's a good chair, so it's $400 or $500.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to pull that trigger of $400 or $500, but I could use a second chair because I don't have one for guests either. So it'd be nice to have a second chair, and at least then I could, if it helps my back, it was probably worth the money.
I agree.
So we'll see.
I sit pretty much all day, every day, and then I sit when I'm streaming and stuff. So I have the exact same chair at the office, which I don't even get to go into right now. But I bought the same chair because there was a certain point to where I'm like, oh, my office chair, because I bought the Secret Lab, I'm like, my back doesn't hurt after work anymore. It's fabulous. But when I'm done streaming, I'm like, oh, God, what's going on here? And I'm like, it's the chair. It's got to be the chair. So I got the second one, and no regrets at all. I definitely 100% recommend Secret Lab if they're in the running, but if they're not, look at them too.
That's who I have at work. I have a Secret Lab at work. Omega, I think.
Okay, yeah, I think it's Omega, then Titan, then like Titan XL or something like that. Yeah. So. And
for anyone not watching, I have a DX Racer at home. So I've tried two of the racer style chairs. Baggy also has a DX Racer, so kind of wanted, matching. That'd be cute. But so I've tried a bunch at the conventions. They always have all the booths. You can sit in them a little bit. So It's hard to tell the difference in 5 minutes. As you said, it's more one of those things you sit in it for a night of gaming, a long session, and then you like, do you still want to?
Yeah.
Can you walk afterwards?
Can you stand up? Like, is sleeping difficult after you've sat in a chair? You know, you got a problem.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. So how much were the standing desks when you were looking at them?
Anywhere from like 400-ish to 800-ish, depending on shape, size, yada, yada.
So my buddy did a thing at work where you know Mass Drop by chance?
I do, yep.
Where it's like a group buy thing. He bought legs for his desks that are the adjustable ones, so they have the memory and the motor in them. He bought the legs only, and then took the top off of his existing desk at work and just bolted it to the legs, and he loves it.
Okay.
So, and I want to say that the legs alone on Mass Drop were $180.
So I don't know quality. Like the site I was on, which I've been looking at the site for probably the whole year, like back and forth, and they do sell just the legs. They call it a DIY kit. I think it fit on my current desk. They were only like $60 cheaper than their cheapest desk, and I was kind of like, at that point, I might as well maybe just buy the desk,
the whole kit,
but
right?
It was, of course, you know, it's like I said, you end up getting suckered in, and I'm looking at one of the most expensive ones because it's this big L.
Oh, okay.
It's like this huge L and 3 legs, and all of it raises the whole L. So I thought that'd be like,
cool.
I have a lot of space, a lot of real estate, perfect for stream work, whatever. And
yeah, you wouldn't, you could spread out all your stuff. I mean, get some monitor mounts so that they're off the desk so you can actually have stuff under them too, because I never really liked the monitor stands. I like monitor mounting arms, you know?
I don't mind. Because I mean, the Dell has a pretty small stand. Our Dell.
Yeah, that one is relatively small. I've had some that are like, I don't like the ones that are shaped funny, so like you can't put stuff on them. Like they're angled all weird, and you're like, I can't even like put something there like a Stream Deck on it or anything, you know? It's kind of weird. But
BenQ's like that, but it's designed actually, I believe that was the point, is you put a PS4 controller or something on it, and the back triggers actually hang on it. So
I have a BenQ as my left monitor over here because that was my primary PS4 gaming monitor, and that the stand, like you just loop the little triggers on there and it just holds it right there. It was perfect. It was cool. Awesome. It was and then of course the Scuf one has the little longer trigger extender things, and it just loops on there perfectly. It was nice. Very, very nice. Oh man. So
oh man, yeah. Your back hurting you? Nope, he's got the Secret Labs.
No, we're good. I got the Secret Labs. So anyway, we're running about an hour and 15 minutes. We have a couple of things. We did mention in the beginning that we are now officially on podcast services. Pretty much all of them. With the one exception of iHeartRadio and Pandora haven't approved us quite yet, so we're still waiting for them because, like I said in the beginning, it's a 14-day waiting period for some odd reason in this world of instantaneous computers that we live in, but whatever. Okay.
Hopefully they're listening to all of our, episodes and kind of bumping up the numbers,
Yeah, seriously. So, yeah, and it's pretty easy. So if you want iTunes, it's itunes.ggweeklypodcast.com, spotify.ggweeklypodcast.com, pretty much all of them. Podbean, YouTube, Google Podcast, which you could just type Google, Stitcher, Tuned In, all of them are all in there. So if you want to subscribe to us, greatly appreciated. We have our own Twitter, which is GG Weekly Podcast, of course. Yep. We haven't gotten all the other socials yet, but we will grab them, so we'll be out there for you guys. I don't know. When's the next time you're streaming there, Noodles?
Plan is Friday. I'm trying to stick to it. I had a good time last night. First time back in like 2.5 weeks besides, obviously this show. I think it's been 2.5 weeks besides this show. And the tourney, I guess. But other than that,
you were in the tourney.
Own self, yeah. For me, like myself not doing something specific. It's been a while. Yeah. It felt good to be back. So hopefully I can ride that wave and keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to jump into some Call of Duty, just ask. I'll sign on with you. I'll hang out.
I know somebody who plays, so
yeah, just
I'll have to let
them
know.
Also, we should probably get another tournament together. Maybe we can talk about that on the next episode. What
we're gonna
what
do
we
a poll
plan
for a tourney. So if you're interested in tourneys, join the Discord if you're not in there. C2 Creator Crew, and look out for a poll. I'm gonna put one in there with all the hot games right now, and hopefully get something going. Got lots of people in chat saying hi now, so let's list everybody we missed today, and if they're still here, we'll say hi. We got Reveal, Nerdy Corn Girl, Lunar Babe, Postal, Baggy. I know I'm Chimpy Boy, Cooch, Core. I think I saw. Yep, that guy Core. Tiger Climb Mountain. Lots of people saying hi. Thank you guys, everybody who's been hanging out, even if we haven't been responding.
We got a little deep in conversation on this one, huh? And then, by the way, Baggy, thank you for that subscription. We appreciate it, of course. Anything else you want to touch on?
I don't think so. I thought I had one more, but you know how that goes. I can't think of anything. If there's anything cool you want to talk about, we have the Twitter, so hit us up. If you want to be a guest, maybe let us know. You got some topic we should hit on, let us know. We do have one guest, potentially. I reached out to a friend who does a podcast with his brother. We might have them both on. And they may have us on their podcast. Still kind of working out the details. So we'll let you know for sure on that Twitter, and obviously our personal Twitters. I've been pretty good lately about tweeting from me, so I will try to continue that. Yeah,
and to follow him, it's Baggy Noodle Arms. To follow me, it's The Real Darth Guy. To follow us as a show, it's GG Weekly Podcast. And if nothing else, Noodles, I think we're good. Thanks, everyone.
You're streaming tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am. I will be live tomorrow with a little bit more try-hard tourney practice for our tournament on Saturday that me, the Cooch, and Dago79, which I think he goes by a different name on Twitch, but we're playing in a trios tournament, so I'll be streaming that on Saturday at 3-ish.
Very cool. I think I already know who I'm raid, so we'll hang out, everybody in the chat. We're going to end our face cam, and we'll get a raid going.
Okay, guys. Thanks. See you next week.